What up guys, it's XCS Warzone coming at you today with a mixture between a update and a how-to video. Here I'll be talking about how I made and how I painted my Morghast Harbinger Archai. As you can see, I've finished him. I'm very happy. I will do a showcase video later, which will feature some high quality pictures of him and a musical background. I'm very happy with him. I think it's the best model I've ever painted, and it's certainly taken the most time, I think, to paint, because I've taken the most care out of it. Excuse me. So basically, let's go over how I made the base. So to make the base, first of all, I pinned it via this part here to the round base you saw in the last update I had for it, and then I glued that down onto some balsa wood, and then I laid up these balsa wood at an angle, and I glued that to the rectangular base, so it's lifted up and it's still got the gaming base on it, so you can still game with it. That has raised it up, and I think it looks really good. And then these are lollipop sticks which I'd stuck down to create a sort of wooden planking, and then I put earth erupting up and underneath, and this is to create the effect that it's the spirits. It's been summoned by Nagash. I don't know the proper lore for it, but I'm going with the spirits have come up from underneath the earth, ruining this lovely planking someone had put out to, pave the way for a city, or has put in their home or something, and it's just erupted, causing this section to raise up from the rest, and I'm really happy with it. To create the earth, and to create the effect of the earth, I used a mixture of grits, which I've got here. Mixture of grits. These include, well, I'll go through the store-bought ones. It is Desert Mix, the Granite Mix, and Coal by Woodland Scenics. The Granite Mix is sort of like a medium grain. The Desert Mix is sort of a fine with some clumpier bits in to give rocks, and then the Coal is quite lumpy, and they give a nice variety. And then I also mixed in some wood chippings which I had from when I was cutting up balsa wood for my art project. So I laid down I mixed all those together and then put them down in the first coat, and then waited for that to dry. Then I went over again with just a mixture of the granite and the desert mixture, just to go over it to get the finer detail and to fill in the gaps and things, and that made it look really nice. And then I went over with a sealant coat, which is just a watered down PVA. Just went over with a sealant coat on that, and then to paint the earth, I based it black, then mixed a dark brown up using the burnt umber and the black I used. Went over it in that, then dry brushed it with Moonfang brown. I then picked out the rocks, using base black, then dark grey, then edge highlight with Codex grey. So I did use that. Sorry, I took that out because I didn't think I used it. Yeah, so edge highlight with Codex grey, and then went over the entire thing using a homemade wash. And if you want to learn how to make a homemade wash, I suggest you go and see Mel Terrain Tutor's channel and his video on that, because that's how I learned to do it. I copied him basically. Great video, great guy, check him out. That's how I made the earth. And for the wooden planks, I used popsicle sticks, lollipop sticks, as we say in England, not popsicle sticks. And then it took a while to paint these actually. First of all, which way around did I do it? I did my chocolate, the watered down chocolate mix, which I showed you in my how to paint Goblin Town video. I coated it in that, then I dry brushed it in. Not yet, sorry. Coated it in that, so that gave it quite a nice colour. I then mixed some of my burnt umber acrylic with my yellow to create like a greeny, browny, rotten wood type colour effect. Then painted it on that in a sort of watered down. That gave it quite a nice aged wooden look. Then I dry brushed it in cashmere, as I did in the Goblin Town. Dry brushed it in that. Then I went over that with the custom wash at the same time as I did the earth, just because it made sense to do it that way. And that has worked really well. I really like it. Really, really like it. So if I'm ever painting wood again, that is how I'm going to paint it. Now on to how I painted the miniature. Let's go over what I used. So for the skulls and the actual body I used Tamiya's white, because I didn't have a GW white. The only downside of Tamiya paints is you have to mix them a lot and get them to the right consistency before you paint, because they separate easily. And you can't shake them, you have to stir them. Whereas GW paints, you just... What I've been doing is literally throwing them up in the air and catching them a couple of times. And that definitely mixes the paint up. So I painted the skulls and the body in that colour. On the weapons, I used the Iron Breaker by GW, and then for the gold pieces there, I based them in in Gehenna's gold. Based them in Gehenna's gold. I'll go with the base coats. So then for the armour, I base coated it in Necron Abyss, which is the old dark blue for GW. I don't know what the new one is, so I've been looking to try and find that. So if anyone knows what the new one is, please tell me. Then for the ghostly bits, I used Fenrir Bay as a base, and then for literally everything else, I used XV88. Then I went over with a wash, which is my homemade wash of a watered down Tamiya flat black mixed with some acrylic black. All of that went over in wash. And then for the skulls, I didn't do any highlighting at all. For the silver, I highlighted with the same again, edge highlighted. Then for the series of highlighting I did for the armour plating, not the gold but the blue armour plating, used edged highlight with regal blue, watered down version, then a solid version. Then I did a Lothern blue edge highlight on that, which gives that effect, which you'll see better in the showcase video. Then for the ghostly bits, I did a wash. Well, I coated it in a watered down coat of Tamiya's clear blue, and then dry brushed it all with some acrylic white paint, because acrylic white paint is easier to dry brush than it is the Tamiya white paint, which gives this lovely, lovely effect, which I really like. Then for the rest, then for the bones and basically the rest of the model, I used Ungor flesh. I did that in the watered down coat. I then went over the golden parts, which I painted gold, the silver, and all the bone parts of a custom made brown wash, which is a mixture of Moonfang brown, Tamiya flat brown, and Ungor flesh to create this. And I washed all of that with it, which flows the highlights in on the bone, and then I coated the golds with a coat of auric armor gold, or I don't know how you pronounce that, but basically it's a light gold, and that gives you the effect I've created now. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. The showcase will come up soon, hopefully, and I'll see you in the next one.